Hello everyone, welcome back to our ACMK podcast. This is our third episode with me, Nancy Valyn. We're so delighted for the progress so far. We did our last episode about 3 weeks ago with Nation Okoa, and that has been amazing. Thank you so much for your views and all your comments. And if you've not looked at it, please go and have a look at it at our podcast. So just to recap on what ACMK is, it's the Association of Construction Managers of Kenya, and we just a group of construction managers giving community to each and every one of us, and then we're trying to have conversations around the construction industry. And for you to relate to us, you don't have to necessarily be in construction, because we're going to be doing content mostly on career development, mostly on owning a home, which most of us does, managing a home and all that. So thank you for being with us. And for today's episode, I'll go right into it. We're talking about construction expectation versus the reality. Like when you're coming in, starting out your career in construction, what were you expecting and what have you found to be the reality? So we don't have to limit this to working in construction. It can even be working the corporate world in general. So to help me have that conversation, I have my friends here. So I'll let them introduce themselves so that I'm not biased on my introduction. So can I start with Grace or Anne?
I can start.
Okay.
Hi everyone, you're welcome. My name is Grace Bako. I am an assistant project manager. I have been working in the industry for the past 2 years. And I am super excited to be sharing with you today. I know it's going to be fun.
That's the spirit. So you've done construction management as a degree for you?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
My name is also Grace Kanja. I'm a quantity surveyor by profession. I've been working in the industry for about 6 years now.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I've worked for a contractor mainly, but also do consulting.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we have a quantity surveyor. That's interesting.
Yay!
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Kenneth Kibuku. I am a construction manager by profession. I've been in the industry for about 6 years now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hi everyone. My name is Gitau. I'm a project manager. I've been in the industry for about 7 years.
Oh, okay. Is it 7 already? Okay, how long have I been in the industry? It's already 7 years. Okay. I've been there for like 4 years. So between us, we have like over 20 years experience. So what we say, it's tested. So we know what you're saying. Okay, all right. Let's get right into it. Who want to start on the biggest expectation? I can start with mine, which is not major, but it was an expectation. I thought I'm doing management. I'm doing construction management. It's a big cost. So my office is going to be this big space in the city. I'm going to be showing up every day in my suits. You know what? Your site, your office is wherever your site is. And most of the time it depends on the size of the project and who the contractor is. So I've had to work in a container. I'm like, am I not the one who did this big degree? So that has been one of my biggest shock or reality check on being in the industry. But it's just a minor break the ice. But we can, for you, Grace, which one?
I think I initially thought that I would be working with contractors a lot.
Okay.
But given that I've gotten into the consultancy, I tend to work more with the clients more than the contractors.
How does that work? Where do you get the impression that you work more with the contractors? What was your understanding on who a contractor is at that time?
When you hear construction, what comes into your mind is site. You don't think of the back, the items that are, exactly. The back end activities, and this is a lot.
Yeah.
And there's something that Nation says several times that and many other people, that the project actually fails or succeeds at planning, right? Yeah. And that planning is the bit that most of the consultants do, right? So I initially thought that I'd be working with contractors, but
what is the experience when working with? What's the difference? Have you noted like a difference between working with contractors?
So working with contractors, working with clients. With clients, you have to look at it mostly on the investment side, the business side of it, which I initially didn't take very seriously. until I came into the industry. I just knew, if it is about quantity surveying, it's about just, counting whatever you need, the amount of money that you need. And if it is about management, just getting people to work, it's almost like a site supervisor, right?
Yeah.
But until I got out here and noticed, it's not that simple, but it can also get simple with time.
Okay,
I think the rest who've been in the industry for like 6-7 years can tell us how simple it gets.
You've just been here for 2 years.
I don't think so. So my experience is the opposite of yours. You leave QS, you think you're going to work in a consulting firm. I did my first and second internship in a consulting firm.
Okay.
I found it a bit boring being at the desk the whole time. So whenever we would go to site, I was very excited. So now I finished school. I remember we finished, graduated in December 2018. So I said January I won't look for work. I'm just gonna be happy partying with my friends, yada yada yada.
Must be nice.
So we had graduation money, so we were still safe enough. And then I thought, I've never really experienced the site life. And the only reason why I was excited about construction was because of going to site, interacting with the workers, the machinery, the dirty bit of it.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me look for work at a contractor's office. That's where I started off, and that's where I'm still there.
Oh, okay.
So the JD changes quite a bit. So the typical QS work, which we learned in class, all the takeoffs and valuations and everything, now you're on the other side.
Oh, okay.
So it becomes a bit different. Now you're doing a lot of purchasing. You're literally now a site supervisor. And now you're trying to...
A high-profile site supervisor.
Yeah, you're trying not to get... That is true. So it becomes a bit different, and that's why now my experience was different, but I didn't really have much of expectations going to the contracting side. I just knew, let me try this thing. As you said, I don't have an office. It's just, you are at site, you're here. We live in the containers during the day, then you go home in the evening, the dust, and just people see you at site. In fact, I get this nickname, Babi wa site. Oh! Because they're like, are you sure? They expect you to be one of the consultants. Yeah. So when they go and you're still here, they're like, are you sure you're supposed to be here? Why are you talking to me like that? Why are you asking me about material? Then they get the hang of it. They're like, oh, she's now a supervisor. Okay, sour.
So for you, you're fully on the contractor side.
Yes.
Like you are a contractor and you're loving it, clearly.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun. It's interesting. I enjoy it.
Clearly. Okay. This side, Ruben. Have you worked with a contractor and a client, and are you seeing any difference, just building up on her point?
Yes. Very different, actually. So my expectations getting in was I was going to be a manager. I was going to be telling people what to do.
Is that what you thought a manager does?
Yeah. Because how I learned about construction management, I was right after campus, I was trying to figure out what to do or which course to take. Initially, I'd wanted to do like actuarial science, and then that didn't work out. And then I started thinking of engineering, but my dad was very opposed to it. And then when I was talking to some older guys, I think they were in campus at that point, they told me, I also wanted to do engineering, but I found another course where you can do a bit of everything and be the boss of the engineers. So I was like, wow, that's exactly it, because I can't decide on which engineering. So if I'm going to get a bit of every engineering, electrical, mechanical, we did civil, structural, yes. So then I should do that. And then I can now be, and the reason he was telling me that is because he told me you'll need to understand what they're doing so that you're able to manage them. So my expectations at that point before I joined university was I was going to be a manager. A boss, like a CEO, but in construction.
How is that?
So that was before campus. Then I joined campus, and in first year, I was introduced to a construction manager who had already studied. And I sat with them, and I was trying to get a gist of everything. And he told me, oh, actually, I think you're more likely to work with a contractor than to be a project manager in this market, because that was how many years ago? I think construction management had only been at UN for maybe 4 years, 5 years. I can't remember. So he told me, we do not have the project management you see in the States or in the Western countries, So you are more likely to work with a contractor as a supervisor. And my heart sank, and I knew like that was it. And then my dad kept pestering me. What is this construction management about? Can you explain to me? And there's no way I was telling him I was going to work with a contractor. Yeah, because he already thought this course is too masculine. You need something feminine. You don't have to fight with fundis and all those kind of people, which is not a bad thing. It's just that, dads and being protective and all that kind of thing. So yeah, my expectations have been shifting. And I think in reality, what I've found is I worked with a contractor for a couple of months as an intern. It was more of site, as she said. Then I've also worked in consulting, which is more of management. It is closer to what I thought initially.
Closer, not the thing.
But not it.
Oh, okay. It's interesting to hear how you got in construction, because you are part of the reason why I came to construction management. You remember? I think I mentioned that I actually mentioned that in the first episode. Because I went to do industrial chem. And then 1 month in, my mom is like, oh, your cousin is actually there in UN. You need to look for her. You should look for her. So I meet Anne, and then she's, You sold CM to me at that time. That must have been the time you thought you were going to be the boss in construction. So I'm happy I met you at that time, and then I shifted. There's something you've mentioned, which is your dad always felt like you're going into a more masculine career than a feminine, environment. In reality, have you found that to be the case? Or are we slowly shifting to, it being a gender neutral? How have you... Even for you, Chris, you can chip in. Do you still think construction?
I mean, I think from experience for all of us in school, you'd find that the ratios of men to women in some of these courses, except I think QS and architecture, you'd find that the ratios were quite varied, especially now with construction management, which is a new course. QS is well known. It's a bit more balanced. QS is well known, so they seemed, or at least for us, I thought there was, compared to now construction management or engineering, you'd find that the ratios were a bit. So I think that it's the way she said. So there are some that are willing to try it out and figure out how it goes. There are some who maybe someone dissuades them and they're like, okay, maybe this is not for me. Because at the end of the day, you remember, most of the people who are going to be aside are going to be men, most of them, because of the way it's always been done. So you'll have to find a way of dealing with them, because at first, respect is always earned. No one gives you respect just because you exist or because you're there. Whether you're a man or a woman, respect is earned. So once respect is earned, there's a way that they treat you that's a bit different as compared to when that is not. So I would say right now it's changing, because everyone is becoming more aware of the fact that we can't just say these people can't do this. So, and then also exposure to just aspect of, let's try this course, let's try these things. So I think it's helping in the period of time, maybe last 10 years, 20 years, where you find a lot more women in the industry as compared to now before that.
Okay. I would say that for me, I think I've also had a shift. The ladies, you can just tell me how it was for you. Because when coming in, I was at the time, which is 5 years ago. Maybe I shouldn't say so that it sounds very solid and grounded.
We need to adjust for COVID. We lost 2 years.
Last 2 years.
But when I was coming in, it was more like, I actually had that fear, because the first meeting you go into, you are the only lady there. The architect is a man, the engineer is a man, the client is a man, and all that. And at first, I thought that most people, when you used to listen to women that time, they're like, oh, when he tells you to go make the tea, do not make the tea. Like at that time, people thought that you're going to be discriminated because you're a woman. But what I've found is that over time, especially in the management, construction management, if you can show up from a point, not from a point of what you do not have, if you show up from a point, what do I have? I am a woman, I can communicate better. I am a woman, I can interact better with people. You actually now start to build the value add as a woman. So you find that even these days you actually see clients saying, I'm looking for a CM, specifically a woman. Because the few women who have been there have shown more of a value add than coming from a point of, I'm intimidated by all the men in the room. So I feel like there's a shift in, it's happening slowly, because there are still people who feel like a woman in a construction site. No, but that shift is happening. For you, how has it?
It's probably slower than
Sure.
most people want to admit. This is why I say that. Okay, no, I'm not in management, so I'm literally at site.
You're our gender person.
Yeah, so being the only female there has been the norm ever since. In fact, when I see another female, I'm so surprised, and I'm like, okay, so how will I handle you? Are you the friendly people? Are you the, men don't care. It's just, let Kanja pass, ladies first, whatever. But something that my boss did from the very beginning is establish that just because you're a female doesn't mean you're now the help.
Yeah.
So from the first day, we used to go to site either with him or with the company car. From the first day, I would chair the meetings with the subcontractors, and I was not the one writing the minutes.
That's
From the first day, the site agent would be the one making sure the tea came to the site office, and I wasn't serving anyone or asking anyone, do you need any more sugar? Or yada yada. Not to mean I'm not feminine, but it's once you establish how you will be conducting business, that also tells how people will come to respect you. Like this book called Nice Girls Still Don't Get the Corner Office. I think everyone in construction should read the book. It's very helpful. But then now where I find the mismatch, probably it's part of what Kenneth said. Long ago, there are not so many females enrolling in school for these courses, but now they are. But then also when you see, there's a difference between when you enroll, when you graduate, when you start practicing. For us quantity surveyors, when you get registered with the Borax, and eventually to where you are now owning construction firms or consulting firms. That's where I feel there's a lot of disparities. So I don't know where females disappear in the middle. Because if you look at the number of contracting firms that have directors as females, very few. Even consulting firms, most of them, they're partners with their male counterparts, but getting a fully female or just a solo female, it's not very common.
That's very interesting point, because
I was going to say that why I think that is because the industry is quite small still, and therefore there's this thing called gatekeeping. So you'll find that the people who are already there don't want, because it's very capital intensive. It's a very good in terms of business and money. So, and you can stay there for as long as, it doesn't matter how old you are, because you just get younger people to run the small things. So you'll find that they want to keep that. So you find it's very hard, because also it's very hard to actually get there. So once you get there, the people want to do this thing whereby just around us, we just keep it around. So it's hard that the way you're saying that for her, like for women, you'd find that it's going to be like, because they were not there before. People who are there before already got what they wanted, and then they put like a boundary around it. So to actually now beat that, you have to find a way to get to them and make them see the value that you offer, as you said clearly, which takes time again, as I said, because even they didn't get there. Maybe there's some that woke up one day and they were there, but there's some that worked their way to get there. Then as soon as they got there, they're like, no, we don't want someone to kick us out. So we're gonna put a barrier here. We're gonna make sure whoever comes, it's very hard for you to get to that level.
I actually never looked at it from the time we leave to the time, because like we were saying, QS, we always thought it's a bit more, it's almost there. And then by then looking at it from how many QS farms are owned by the ladies, it's very few.
We had this conversation actually. I think, Grace, I don't know if you're around. But for the farm, we work for the same company.
Oh, okay.
So it was a QS farm. Like it started out as a QS farm. And we had raised that gender equality question because we had like the ratio of men to women and the number of them in leadership. There were no women in leadership. And the explanation they gave us, which I think makes sense, is there were never women from the beginning. Like women have just started getting into the industry now. You'll find that the people who are directors are older. So it would have meant that there needed to be a young QS lady back in the day, and they needed to be many of them so that they can make it to senior leadership. So now what you find that the firm is doing is they're trying to balance out men and women right now during hiring. So that now I think we have a 50 to 50%. It's 50-50 in terms of the number of women. they're very intentional about it. So that's a good thing. So hopefully in the next how many years?
However,
Then
but also
I'll be director.
another thing that maybe I'd add on that is maybe a bit controversial, to be honest, is that tea for tough. It's that the aspect of right now there's that awareness of trying to make sure that there's a sort of equality or equity, whatever you want to call it. But the difference is what is happening. There's some people who are doing it out of just to show that they're doing it, not because there's merit. Because you remember the other thing that I'll talk about men because I'm a man. With us men, for you to get to that level, you have to show your value. You have to earn it. Like that people look at you and be like, yeah, that person needs to be there. But if at any one point someone feels, whether the man or whoever it is, they feel that you were given that, you never earned it. You see, the respect is earned from that point of view. Yeah. So you'll find that people there's a company who say, we're going to add someone, a lady in the board, just because we can fill in a quota. You see, that person will just be the help. They'll be considered the help sort of, because they have not, according to the people in that room, they have not done anything to earn based on the people around there. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is.
I get that, but thank God you said it's a bit controversial because there's something Joanne says in her books, and she really discourages women. She's like, I know we are all about women empowerment, but please earn your seat. Yeah. Because every time a woman who has not earned her seat sits at the table, everybody else who is working hard, right? It seemed like, oh, you got that because you're a woman, right? But at the same time, if someone was to pick and put a woman in a board just because she's a woman and she delivers, I think
if she delivers, then of course there's no question. If she delivers, but remember, getting to the board, you see all the other people around there, no one just woke up and go to the board.
Yeah.
See, that's the other question that you have to think about.
They all know that you were just brought.
Yeah, you are just brought in to feel. They know that. That's the unfortunate bit.
But
but there's something else. I think even for women, young women in the industry, I think we'll have. I would say we would have to make a few compromises in as much as in terms of, so that we can have like something like representation of women, so that other women can see it's possible. Yeah.
I thought the same thing. I thought it would be so hard for a woman and that everybody look at me badly and everything. Yeah. But thank God, I don't know how this sounds. My mentors in the industry, I think I only have one female mentor. All the rest
I don't have any female mentors.
And they're not just mentors, some of them are also sponsors. Meaning they put my name out there. Or you want a QS, you want somebody who's done arbitration, you want somebody who's worked for a contractor, she can do consulting, she can also do project management. They put my name out there and they're the ones who've helped me grow this much. And as Kenneth said, construction is merit-based. There is no way you'll be picked from somewhere and put on a board. That's literally impossible in this field.
Before this stands, because I think the feminine, masculine, we can go into this for so long. I just want to circle back a little on something you've said, which is mentorship, right? So I'm trying to see the mentorship that I had in mind when I was just coming out of school. I thought this mentor would be having like weekly meetings with me and just, guiding me. What did you do this week? Have you written? Which checklist have you done? Like, I thought a mentor is supposed to...
give you a job.
Yes, eventually. Like after 2-3 days, she helped me do my, my survey, and then so I recommended you here. Okay. I think I got a very different kind of mentorship. You learn how busy adults are, right? And you have to learn from this person as fast as possible, and you have to learn through what they are doing. So I've had a different type of mentorship where I'm not necessarily sitting table to table, but I can point at this person and say, this has been my mentor. And someone will be like, I've never seen you with that person. I know, but I look up to them in what they're doing. Every once in a while, we'll have a check-in, but it's not that they sit down and walk with you to interviews and stuff. They'll mention your name, yes, they'll do, but most of the work, the bulk of the work is for you to take the initiative. How has the mentorship journey been for you? And have you mentored someone? At the moment, those people. No, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm actually mentoring someone.
Really?
Well.
I am actually mentoring someone, and I'm being mentored.
Okay.
I'm mentoring someone who's in university. I am being mentored by Nation.
Oh, okay.
Well.
How is it?
And let me set how how the mentorship has evolved from university till now, right? So initially, I'd send a quick text and say, da-da-da-da-da, my goals, pap, pap. And then 3 days, 4 days later, Nash will be like, hi, Grace, right? And I'm like, you mean I am this young, almost young professional, and you're not, paying attention to me? But my expectations have now changed, given that I've gotten into the industry, and I also don't respond to texts very quickly or promptly as I initially would have wanted to or also expected, and I've come to appreciate. So for now, when I send a quick message, I do not even expect it to be responded to first of all. I will wait until when it is responded to. Then we will converse after that.
No, but a quick message is supposed to be that. Quick text, quick message.
Now again, so there's the timing, the expectation of how soon these people should be getting back to you and all. But then there's this other bit which I've seen with my friends and my peers who expected that these mentors or whoever you meet networking should actually give you a particular job. I think that's what most of us expected after university.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, I sent you my CV, you did not send it to someone you know, and I know you know many other people, right? But something that I have learned is we need to but really actually change our mindsets and learn by observing a lot, take it up upon ourselves and do the job, right? So one, I learn a lot from, say, as I've mentioned, Nation, from his work ethic, right? I observe how he does his things. I see, once in 2 months he's gotten his book out. I'm like, okay. But I didn't actually sit down with him. And then he told me I actually sat for 2 months and did an actual book. But I observed. So it was upon me to actually take the lessons out of this person that I call a mentor, right? Okay. Now, the other thing is with regards to someone giving you a particular job. Now, these people, if you have, now that I'm saying I'm mentoring this girl in university, I am very intentional about trying to get her, not a job, but like now she needs an attachment or an opportunity, right? But she should not be waiting on me
to get
that particular job or opportunity for her. So that's the shift in mindset that I think most of the people who will be watching or listening to us should also just take into account. Like, yes, they may, let me use that word, give you an opportunity if they come across one. But it should be upon yourself to look for that particular opportunity from wherever and not that particular mentor. Okay. But I think the main thing is to learn from them.
Speaking of that, how did we all get like the first job opportunity we got, and how this was coming out to me? First of all, from construction management, I don't know why I thought there are so many opportunities for us. I came out thinking that because I came out thinking I can work in an architectural firm, I can work in HEC, I can work in in my mind I came in this abundance point of view because I thought I've been trained on so many small sectors in the construction. I can go to government, I can go to private. So I came with that. There's so many opportunities out here.
I think you're correct.
They are, but let's just
The difference usually is that the kind of experience you want is not that. So you can work in an architect. You can work with everyone because you sort of have an understanding. Yeah. It's just that the kind of experience most of people are looking for are not that. So you'll find that however many opportunities are there, is that it's not, there's opportunity that you want. There's the one that you're looking for that will be, now like example, like Kanja here will say, she's enjoying site. So you see for her, once she found that one, it's perfect. Yeah. We have...
she's almost a boss.
She's a boss now. So she enjoys those parts of that. So, and then you have Grace, who is able to now be able to link those two, whereby she's mentoring someone, she's learning under, people like Anne. She has that aspect of the link, which is very nice. So it's just a matter of which experience are you looking for, or how much money do you want to make, and then especially the money bit. The money bit also. The money bit also. When you're leaving campus, you think, oh my God, I'm going to
before we go to the money part, I still want us to just understand, because for CM, most of our viewers are young people.
Yeah.
How did you get your first job, and how did that compare with what you had in mind on? And I feel like you're summoning here.
Maybe to combine that with the mentorship thing.
Yeah.
I have never had a mentor. So how I started, so when I got into university, my expectations changed now. And I realized I could be working with a contractor now. Lucky for me, I'd been doing my CPAs while I was waiting to join campus. And so instead of going to tell my dad, you know what, this contractor thing will not work, I changed my aspirations.
Altogether.
I decided I'm going into finance. That's it. So I would finish my CPAs and I would go work for Big Four, I don't know, UN, finance. I would work for, I don't know, McKinsey. So when I finished university, my first job was at KPMG.
Oh yeah, but then you didn't go straight to construction.
So I really ran away from construction. And within the third month, my dad was already like, you need to quit that job. And I'm thinking, where will I go when I quit? First of all, his worry was that I was relying on him a lot for my first job. He knows no one in construction. So he was not in a position to help me. And then he got some contractor to give me a job, but it was one of those contractors. Those ones.
Yeah, we're going to talk about those ones at length.
So I didn't want to do that. So now finance seemed like the next best thing. Actually, it seemed like the best thing by the time I was finishing university. And then I went there for about a year. And at the end of that year, I knew I needed to choose a struggle.
What do you mean?
I needed to choose a struggle because in finance or what I was doing audit, you are working long hours. I did not like the lifestyle in that industry. And so I had to re-strategize and start looking for opportunities in construction. I still didn't have a mentor. I was just winging it. Let's go with the flow. Yeah, whatever comes my way, we do it. And then now I got a job at my current company after a couple of years of joblessness and trying out a lot of things with these guys. Kanja and Kenneth. We started our own company. I did all kinds of jobs. Photography. I shot a couple of weddings and birthdays. And then I got birthdays and baby showers. And then I got my first consulting job. I think that's the first place I encountered someone who could teach me. This is how you're supposed to do these things. They taught me professionalism. They taught me that you need to be like very good technically. So that we don't earn we earn the seat. So you cannot pretend you're a woman over there. You have to be.
Discrimination.
So you cannot say that just because I'm a woman I'll get a seat at the table. Yeah. So they told me the training was good, but I would probably execute it differently now as a woman because I really don't want to separate myself from that and pretend that I'm a man. I'm not.
But the first consulting job, did you get it through like a referral? Is it through sending CVs? How did you finally get it in construction?
Yeah, so my friend and former classmate in university was working there. So she gave me the contact of her bosses, or my bosses. And right after KPMG, I called them.
Oh, okay.
I told them I want to come work for your company. But that time they had just brought in the PM department. It was initially a QS firm. So they had just brought in a PM department and they didn't have that many projects. So they told me, we'll call you, we have your CV. So they didn't call. 1 year, 2 years. And then here's the thing, I had decided I was not going to work for anyone else.
Oh,
so
wow.
if they took 10 years, I would still be here.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Commitment.
Is it that good a company? We'll talk sideways. Okay.
Yeah. So I would keep reaching out, and then one day, the director told me, "Can you do a program?" And I told him yes. I'd been doing some for some banks I was working with, and he gave me an assignment, and I did it, and he was like, "Okay, start work on this particular day."
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For you, Kenneth?
For me, I think I started working in when in uni. I mean, after and during the long holidays, I used to get that. So I think it was a family friend who was like, "Can try it out and see how."
Those are connected.
You try it out and just see. Also, you see the thing with now that kind of arrangement, or at least that kind of opportunity, is that you can't mess it up, because then it just goes around everywhere. But, it's a very small industry. So you try and make sure that you do well, so that also, even for them, the way Grace was saying, they can be able to say, oh, this person can do this, because of course you outgrow those spaces. So they can be able to recommend you, because again, in the industry, you deal with so many people, especially when you're doing a project. So you can be able to get opportunities everywhere.
Okay.
So that's
so for you, just transition.
Yeah, just started working, and then went to site.
We don't share any privilege, so it's okay.
Or maybe to make it less look like that is more of when you go to site, because again, I was school, and then most of the site people don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
So because are you an engineer? No, you're not. Are you an architect? No, you're not. Are you a QS? No. So they didn't know anyone else. So now on site you're from corner. So beba simiti, beba mawe. So it's you're basically having to earn your way through there.
I'm finding that mostly when dealing with clients. No, once you're on site, it's easy because you're the boss. So you can, I'll just be over here telling you what to do. But okay, that's not true. But with clients, especially when you're pitching for new jobs, like most clients are just trying to appreciate the role of a CM. But for most people, especially developers who've already been building for long, they still don't understand.
Yeah, they don't understand.
Especially what are you bringing?
Yeah.
So I think that's when I find myself really trying to explain exactly what I'm bringing to the table. But once I'd just like to mention that we are shooting today's episode at Tilisi. So Tilisi, this is one of their villas. It's a mixed-use development, and they're offering you a variety of options. But this is one of their best villas. So it's they usually have their sales team available not 24/7, but 7 days a week. So if you can just come around, have a look at it. It's very strategically located. It has high-level infrastructure that you've not seen in any other estates or any other developments. So come have a look at the options that they have. Thank you very much.